and we do it Monday through Friday. And we are now live on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook groups, our Mentor Me Live group. We are live and ready to rock and roll. Coach yourself to success. Hi, you guys, as you're jumping on, go in the comment section and say, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so you know when you have, let's just say, a friend in your life that you support a lot, right? Tanya, Esteban, right? You guys over on Instagram, you got a friend in your life that you've walked through a lot with. Does everybody have that person put yes? Put yes in the comment section. If somebody comes to mind that you're thinking, oh yeah, there's Tom or my friend Jesse or my friend whoever, like there's somebody in your life that you're always there for. Am I right? Yes. And maybe that person just seems to not be able to get their stuff together when it comes to relationships, or they are having a really hard time battling, trying to grow a business or trying to get a nonprofit off the ground, or they're just feeling it. You know, they're just feeling like life could be going a little better than it is. You guys got that person in mind right now that you help all the time, or they tend to come in and out of your life that you support and you love? Now let's flip that. What about a customer or client? Does anybody have a customer or client? Put C for customer or client, put C in the comment section. You got a customer or client that you just are either pouring into right now, or you've been pouring into for a long time, and you would do anything for them. And quite frankly, you do, right? Quite frankly, you do. You guys on Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube, can you share this as well? Share this live. Let's get some more people rocking and rolling on here. So I want to talk about this because this is a really interesting relationship. And it's an area that you can see a pattern in your life that can either escalate speed in your life, or it can have you feel stuck, like down here, feel stuck with, you know, constantly feeling like you're getting defeated or not being appreciated. So let's flip this story on its head and think about, is there somebody that has been that person for you? And if there is, put that person's name in the comment section. If you can tag them, because I think it would be incredibly beautiful to just honor them right now. Is there somebody in your life that you'd like to honor right now that has been there for you? Like my friend Michael Strasner has always been there for me. My friend Rex Crane has always been there for me. Becky is there for me. I can, go through a list of people that, not a huge list, but there's a list of people in my life, and maybe you have 1, 2, or 3, but okay, great. So on Facebook, James, Sylvia put James, Esteban put Damien, Melanie put Sandy, my mom, right? So who in your life, Instagram, play along with us, right? Who in your life that really, truly has been there for you? Like somebody put somebody's name down that's been there for you. My husband has been there for me. Jim, Shelby has been there for me. Camelia has been there for me. Super honoring. Tamika, you said Cindy has been there for you. Emma has been there for you. So good. So now when you look at the people who have been there for us, ask yourself, this is a kind of a holy moment. It's like a moment of honesty where you ask yourself, have you ever turned on them? Like, have you ever stopped and said, Bill or Alex or Becky or whoever it is, Mike, have you ever turned on them where you've turned around and judged them for something? Put yes or no in the chat, right? Put yes or no in the chat. And you're probably going to find the answer is yes, if you're honest. It's the minute that you didn't agree, there is a turning of heart. I call it loyalty. And somebody's like, yes. It's good though to see this, right? Because I feel like there could be a relationship restored even today on listening to this. And so Tamika said never, right? But many of you guys say yes. I have. I mean, my mom has always been there for me. And there was a period in my life where I judged my mom. I felt like my mother didn't hear me. She didn't support me, especially in my dating years before I found my husband. It always felt like I was doing something wrong in the relationship versus just standing next to me and maybe encouraging me to keep selecting well, right? And I had to sit and have a conversation with my mom. And I said, Mom, you should follow this if you have any intention on healing a relationship today. Because I'm going to tell you, there are people in your life that you have poured into that may be judging you now, or will at some point, or there's somebody that has poured into you that you need a course correction. And remember how much they've been there for you, because it's really easy. When I say turn on them, it's really easy to hurt somebody's reputation by the way you speak about them. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like the way you speak about the people in your life hurts their reputation or not. Now, let me talk about gossip for a second. There's so many times people will say that your friend or someone you love has said something about you. And I'm going to highly encourage you to go to that person and have enough loyalty on your side not to turn on them, and to go and have a conversation with them about what was said. Because almost always I have found that the person that has spoken behind my back about anything, it's usually out of context on what was said. Have you ever played that game telephone, where you sit in a circle and you start a secret, and by the time it gets around to the other side and back to you, it's a completely different secret? I've played that game probably 5 or 6 times in my life, and not once has the story or the secret been the same when it got around the circle. Not once. So it's pretty consistent that if you can keep yourself in strength, in absolute strength, in loyalty, in power, in friendship, in love, that when someone says something to you about somebody that you love, or that is poured into or pours into you, you've poured into or they've poured into, if you can stand, and loyalty is one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things. And by the way, I'm not standing in front of you saying that I have never said something about somebody, but I have asked for forgiveness. I have been on my knees. I have repented it. And the prayer of my heart is to keep escalating my character, both as a mentor, as a mom, as a wife. I don't go and talk behind my husband's back to my friends. I do not discredit his character in front of other people, because I know the power of my words can change the way you think about my husband. They can change the way you think about Faith, who's running these chats right now. They can change the way that you think about, my son. You parents, the way you talk to your children in front of other people, when you go and correct them, if you correct them in front of other people, what reputation are you giving them? How would you like to be corrected in front of other people? Right? Or would you like to be pulled aside and reminded that the way that you're showing up is not landing right? It's actually landing in a way that maybe hurts your reputation. So I wanted to bring this conversation up because I know that everybody has got somebody in your life that you love, and maybe the relationship is not being held together in the way that it could be. And maybe there's some hurt feelings, maybe there's some frustration, maybe there is some judgment, and maybe you are 100% right that they have wronged you. Maybe you're 100% right that they have wronged you. And maybe you've even said some things that you're not proud of. And maybe you're justified in that. And I want to tell you that justice is important, but forgiveness is so much more important than justice. My point is that when things have been made right, forgiveness is the only thing that creates speed. So I share this with you all because when you're looking, obviously I help people grow businesses. That's what I do. And when people come to me and they're like, Shanda, help me figure out my messaging, and I help them figure out their messaging, their heart and the way they deliver their message is why they'll go in a stadium, or they'll stand like in their room, or in an empty room, or in an event room that should be full, and it's not. It's the reason why some people furiously commit because of the state of their heart, or they're afraid to launch campaigns because fear has gripped them. See, my friends, fear comes from a misidentification of who we are. And when we judge people, we know when we put our head down that we're not the best version of ourselves. And when other people judge us, it sticks on us. It hurts. And even if you say it doesn't hurt, it does. It does. You're human. Even if, oh, I don't care, you do. You do care. If you've got any sort of heart left, you care. And so it's so important to stop. And one of the ways to neutralize this need to be right, or this need to be in unity, or in companionship, in love, in friendship, in forgiveness, you will not, I'm telling you, you will not escalate your brand and business until your heart gets cleaned. And I see people who are the judgiest people on the planet get online and talk about God. And they believe in God and they're walking their walk. And it's so hard for me not to judge them, because I know the corruptness of the trauma behind closed doors. I know how many times they've cheated someone or not been honest about something, but then I notice them self-correct themselves to honor and God and love again. I watch these walks, right? And it's like, who are we to judge if somebody's trying? Who are we to constantly talk about people behind their back? Because guess what? You will find the people. If you're in breakdown with someone, you will find the people who are in breakdown with that person, or have something to say. And sometimes it's just pure jealousy. And so I'm just going to encourage you today, for no other than to just say, you want to have an impact that is really, really big, you've got to clean your heart. So when people say, Shanda, how do I come up with a message? How do I come up with a title to launch a challenge, or like launch a webinar, or fill an event? I mean, we did 87 events. You want to know how to do events? Reach out to me. Send me a direct inbox message. I can show you how to do events and fill them like crazy. I can show you how to have other people train them. I can show you how to scale your business. I can show you how to crush it. But when your heart's messed up, your leadership is messed up. And what happens is that you can work and work and work and work really hard. But the truth is people can smell it. They can smell it. Your words don't have power on it. They feel esoteric. They feel fluffy. They feel good in your head. But then when you go to speak it, they don't create impact. How do you know you have impact? Look at the comments. Take a moment right now. And if this is making a difference for you, put the word me in the chat. If this is making a difference for you, put the word me in the chat. If it's time for things to shift in this area. If you want to impact a lot of people, put the word me in the chat. If you want to see if your words have power, look for when you speak, do people react? Do people engage? If people react and people engage, then the truth is that the fluff is going away and the fierce finances are coming in. The fantastic impact of what you're meant to do is coming in. When it's crickets out there, the first place you should go is ask yourself, who do I need to forgive? And maybe that is yourself. There are people who will never forgive you for things you've done in the past. But if you can forgive yourself, you can unleash from that. So the way I forgive myself is I might go have a conversation with somebody that I love or don't love anymore, but I want to clean it up. And I might go to them and say, listen, I'm sorry that I disappointed you. I'm sorry that I spoke that word about you behind your back. I'm sorry that it wasn't my finest moment as a friend, a sister, a spouse, whatever. It wasn't a coaching client. It wasn't my best human moment, and I'm sorry. And if the other person doesn't want to forgive you, that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to say, guess what? I'm sorry that you can't forgive me. I hope you can at some point, but I've forgiven myself. And so I'm moving on, and I hope that you can too. I'm telling you, speaking like that unleashes people from even attacking you anymore. You see, every time people speak negative things over you, they label you. Your tongue is so powerful. That's why law of attraction took off like crazy, even though it is out of the Bible. It took off like crazy because people realized that when they speak something, they could create it. So you guys are all welcome to do this with me right now. And the next 30 days, something I'm doing with our family, with our homeschool teacher and our house manager. And yes, we have lots of great blessings in our life, but I've worked my tail off to be able to have these blessings in life. They did not just get dropped out of the sky by God or by meditation, my friends, or law of attraction. It came from cleaning my heart and be able to get myself out there to work at a work ethic level that really made a difference. It required me to not feel bad about making offers or not feel like I was being too pushy. And I had to get rid of all of that guilt and shame to be able to unleash. Anybody relate with me? Yes? Put yes in the comment section if you can relate with me. When you're afraid to make offers because you think that it's too pushy, or you make an offer and you don't make 12 repitches on the same offer, you probably have some guilt somewhere in your heart. And it attaches and stops you from leading and making enough offers to be able to process with people. See, when you make an offer for something, people are processing with you. And if you think that you failed, you probably didn't fail. You just stopped too soon. Who need to hear that right now? You probably didn't fail. You just stopped too soon. And so what happens is that you're out there and you're like, okay, I'm going to make an offer about this course or this event or my relationship healing product or whatever, right? My network marketing company. You go and you make the offer and somebody says to you, you know what, I really want that, but I got to think about it. Okay, so you need to assume everybody who didn't say yes is thinking about it, which means you have to process with them, which means that when you make an offer, you have to repitch 12 to 17 times in 3 days. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. And those 12 to 17 repitches, they sound a little different on each one, but it's processing with someone. And if you have it wired like you're guilty or you're pushy, I'm telling you, it won't matter how, can I push you to make those offers? Yes, I can. But what happens when I'm not there? What happens when the VIP day is over? What happens when the course is over? What happens? You've got to be able to do this no matter what. And the way you do it is you clean your heart from the guilt and the shame. So just knowing that you do 12 to 17 repitches after every offer within 4 days, just knowing that is actually enough for you to go do it. Because even doing it sloppily, you will gain data, you will gain insight, you will gain wisdom to do it better next week. Oh my God, next week you want me to make offers? Yes. Yes, just because you made offers this week doesn't mean you shouldn't make offers next week. That's a good thing. Forcing you to think about what to offer next forces your heart to get more generous. See, when we get stuck, it's actually because we're stuck on us. When we don't know what to offer, when we don't know what to price ourselves in, when we don't know how to make another offer next week and an offer the next week, even if I challenged y'all to make a different offer every week for the next 11 weeks of this year, that's all that's left, 11 weeks. If you don't have a good coach, you better get in with a good coach, right? If you don't have a good coach, you better get in with a good business coach. If you want your relationship to go to the next level, you should get in with a coach. Stop doing it alone. And if you're a Mentor Me Live client, you need to push in right now. You need to push in because this is the work only you can do. And so when you know these strategies and you know that when you make an offer, you got to repitch 12 to 17 times in 3-4 days, then you should be willing to do it messy, but it's not about being pushy. It's actually about realizing you're processing with people. And so if you are impatient, that's not a badge of honor. That's my controllers. And they're great at getting something started. They're great at making decisions. But if you're impatient, then how good are you when you're standing there processing with someone because they don't want to hear this? They want to hear compassion. They want to hear empathy. If you're in the Mentor Me Live program or 1%, go study the empathy model in Hardcore World, right? Go study it. Know it off the back of your hand. Every title I come up with, every challenge I create, every webinar I do, every Facebook, Instagram, YouTube live I do my empathy model first. Like tomorrow, I'm going to hot seat. Tomorrow, I'm going to hot seat to break people's minds through what's possible. Instagram, I won't be able to do it on Instagram with you, but you can always join us on YouTube, on Hardcore Business on YouTube, or Hardcore Business on Facebook. But my whole point, I'm going to end on this, is that you're working probably harder than you need to be working. And that is not saying you shouldn't work really hard. Work is a privilege. It is very, very powerful that you're working. It's a privilege to work. It means that you're doing something to impact somebody else's life, whether it's stocking boxes or stocking groceries at a grocery store, or whether it's creating courses and programs for people digitally online or doing events. It's all a privilege. I mean, at one point in your life, you wished for whatever job you have to make money. It is a privilege. Now, I guarantee you most people are working too hard because they don't realize how much the shame, the guilt, the unforgiveness is stopping them from actually filtering their decision-making through a pure, clean filter. Like you're making jam in your life, and the jam either tastes great or it's sour. And when it's sour, you've missed out a few ingredients. And the ingredients in leadership, the ingredients in entrepreneurship, the ingredients in creating a great message, the ingredients of getting to the next level is not you behind closed doors saying, I'm so exhausted. Oh, I did that live and nobody commented. Oh, what's the point in doing this Instagram stuff? Nobody shows up. Oh, nobody bought. I just invested in a coach and I never got the results. Behind closed doors, if it looks like that, there's some work to do. There's some work to do. It's got to look like, you know what? I know there's a way that I can speak to you, and that when I speak to you, you have the courage to buy. I know this is what you need to think like. I know that if I did a webinar and nobody showed up, that I missed something. Let me go see how many emails I sent out. Okay, I sent out a lot of emails. How did the message sound? Was I processing with somebody to get on? Or was I just following up with them because I wanted a full webinar? See, it's just a slight little distinction, but it makes all the difference in the world. I want to encourage you today to look at who are the people that you've poured into that maybe have turned their backs on you, and forgive them. I want you to look at the people who have poured into you that maybe you've turned your back on, maybe ever so slight, in just the way that you think about them, the lack of appreciation. Because here's what I'm clear about. Unemployment just went up to 10%. And the indicators from the economists look like we could drop back into an 2008 economy. And I know there's some people still drinking the Kool-Aid and pretending like this isn't going to happen. But it's happening. I got another message from somebody on Instagram this morning. I'm a real estate agent. Will your list power program work for me? Because the market has turned and I can't make money anymore. See, the power is in the pivot. That real estate agent can make a lot of money right now. In fact, she shouldn't, in my opinion, move to Amazon. She should stay right there in the real estate market because she's about to have more buyers than she's ever seen in her entire life. She just needs to shift her leadership, which means you got to stop fighting for your freedom and you need to start fighting for everybody else's. At Hardcore Business, our teachings and our methods are all about turning people's hearts to not just serve because it sounds like the good thing to do, but to actually put themselves in a leadership position that they stop being distracted by disgusting judgment and they start moving themselves over to honest feedback so that they can become the leaders that actually transform the world. So if you're meant to be live or 1%er in any of our hardcore programs, List Power, I honor you guys as we step up together. If you're not, I hope you're in a great community. There's so many great leaders out there. Jenna Kutcher's amazing. Amy Porterfield's amazing. Dean Graziosi's amazing. Russell Brunson's amazing. There's a lot of great people that I share this world of entrepreneurship, and they're amazing. Make sure you're not doing it alone. All right, you guys. Talk to you soon. I'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll start hot seating at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye.